Let's talk about the most powerful thing you do every day that either builds your life or destroys it. It's not your job, it's not your habits, it's your words. So welcome back to the 4 Agreements Book Club. This week we're on Chapter 2, the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your word. If you're just joining, this is part of a weekly series where I'm going to break down one chapter each week of a self-help, self-growth book to help you understand it at a deeper level, even if you haven't read it, even though reading is definitely recommended. And as always, you take what resonates, discard what doesn't. You'll know exactly what's meant for you. You can also go to my website, katinalee.com, and grab the free downloadable PDF that goes with this week's episode. Just click on the YouTube Book Club page and download it. No email or sign up required, just hit download. So let's start with, what does impeccable actually mean? Ruiz explains that impeccable comes from a Latin word that I won't even try to say, but the word means sin. So impeccable literally means without sin. But he challenges the way that we've been taught to think about sin. He says, a sin is anything you do which goes against yourself. So being impeccable with your word means not using your words to hurt, belittle, or betray yourself and, of course, others. Ruiz describes the word as your most powerful tool. It's your magic. With it, you can create beauty or you can cause destruction. For my faith-based friends, you already know that to be true because the Bible talks about how the power of life and death are in the tongue. So Ruiz also, he tells us to think of Hitler. He uses this extreme example to show how the misuse of words laced with fear and hate, can infect minds and alter entire generations. So I want you to think about your own life. What words shaped you as a child? What labels stuck? What passing comments became lifelong beliefs? Words are spells, and we repeat them to ourselves all day long. So I've named my inner critic Nancy. I've talked about her here before. She's the voice that tells me I'm too much, that I'm not enough, that I'm behind, that I should have known better. But Nancy isn't evil. She's just echoing everything that I have absorbed over the years. What teachers said, what I saw in relationships, what I interpreted as truth long before I had the power to choose it for myself. So being impeccable with my word means that I'm questioning her. I'm asking the questions. I'm saying, whose voice is this really? Is this truth or is this just old training? Ruiz also makes a strong point that gets misused or missed in polite culture. When you say yes, but you mean no, just to avoid conflict or spare someone's feelings, you're not being impeccable with your word. And that one hit me hard, because how often do we do this in relationships? We agree to things that we don't want, allowing bitterness and anger to grow silently beneath the surface. We stay silent about what matters to us. We hide the truth because we're afraid of being misunderstood, or worse, ignored. But holding back truth to avoid discomfort is still a form of dishonesty. Being impeccable with your word means honoring your truth, even when it's awkward or difficult. It's not being cruel or careless, but definitely clear. Another key part of this chapter is about how easily we spread emotional poison with our words, especially through gossip and criticism. Ruiz says that gossip is black magic at its worst because it's pure poison. When we speak negatively about others, we plant seeds of doubt, fear, and shame. But when we gossip about ourselves internally or aloud, we multiply that poison tenfold. We are constantly creating agreements with ourselves through what we say. I'll never be good at this. I always mess things up. No one's ever really loved me. No one's ever going to love me. These are verbal agreements and we live by them. It kind of goes back to something that I talked about a few weeks ago here. When I talked about we write these scripts with all of these horrible, impossible to meet rules of what it takes to be worthy or valuable or lovable. But here's the thing, we can write new scripts by changing our language, by being impeccable with our word. Being impeccable with your word means beginning to speak what's possible, not what's painful. I've always believed and I've said that words are powerful. We need to start speaking life over ourselves and not death. For one example that doesn't necessarily seem to go along with this chapter, but I would say definitely matters, is when people say things like, this headache is killing me. Is the headache really killing you, or do you just have a headache? I hear that often. If you keep saying the headache is killing you, at some point, it just might. So here's your invitation this week. Notice how you use your words out loud and in your mind. Ask yourself, is this speaking life or death? Is this positive or negative? Is this being kind to myself and others? Is it true? Is it necessary? And when it's time to say something hard and something honest, try saying it from a place of love instead of fear. That's real power. So will you drop me a comment below and share what's one thing that you're ready to stop saying to yourself? Or what's one truth you've been afraid to speak that you're finally ready to say out loud? Next week, we're going to dive into the second agreement, which is don't take anything personally. You'll not want to miss this one because it's where everything starts to click. So, speak truth, speak love, and above all, speak to yourself like you're someone worth loving. And I will see you next Sunday.